everyone, and welcome back to Galactic Reviews. This time we did the movie Dirty Work. It is a comedy movie, not meant to really be taken seriously. So, short synopsis of the movie: a dude and his best friend have hard times landing a job. You get to see their lives a little bit, and then come to find out one of the guy's dads needs a heart transplant and it's going to cost him a lot of money. So they end up trying to do all these odd jobs and then think, why not start a revenge visit? And that's essentially the plot of the movie, roughly.
Just like this movie, great actors. Um,
Andrew would beg to differ with one.
okay, his delivery was just he's not an actor, he's a comedian.
Since
It's
you're
very
talking.
apparent he's just not an actor, he's a comedian. But overall, the premise of this movie I did enjoy. It was just there were a lot of parts where he doesn't have any inflation in his voice. It's just all monotone, really. Other than that, it was a great movie. I would give it a 7 out of 10.
So yeah, reiterating it had great actors. I was pleasantly surprised every once in a while when I'd be like, wow, Adam Sandler, what are you doing in here? And then never saw him again. I think it had a great plot, great potential, but the delivery of Norm would always, I guess, not catch me off guard, but it would make me go, ah, that would have been so funny. It was a constant buzzkill because I knew a joke was coming and then I didn't laugh. So I'd give it a 4. I want to give it higher because it had really good potential, but I just probably wouldn't watch it again.
As for me, I like Norm Macdonald more as a comedian, not an actor. And I understand that this was just sort of a fun thing to do, but it just felt like one of his comedy specials put in a movie style. But having Adam Sandler and all that was kind of funny, but I think it felt more like a comedy skit than anything else. So it was still an okay movie. I'm not denying it that. I want to say a 6 out of 10, just for the simple fact of I enjoyed it, but there's bits and pieces where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go look at my phone for a while now or something. The jokes were funny, but it was just the movie itself I couldn't stay focused on.
So this is one of my favorite comedy movies. I like this one a lot. Yeah, I don't have really much of anything else to say other than that. I understand there's problems with it, and I don't deny that there are problems with it. Like, it's not perfect, but it's not meant to be a straightforward, serious kind of movie. It is meant to be a comedy, and some of the parts where it is just, like you said, Jack, bland, it is setting up for another joke to come up next. Case in point, when he was talking to, I guess, his girl he was kind of seeing ish and walking her over to her grandma's place, that then set it up for you to go into the whole thing where they're at the car and they're discussing the whole process. Like, it's a shame that we really have to do this, but we got to do it. It went straight forward with that deadpan joke, which I understand, Andrew, is not your strong suit of comedy, but it's something I like. So I'll give this a 8 out of 10, just for the sake of, I know there are problems with it. I'm not going to deny that, but I still really enjoy this movie. We don't even have to say spoiler warning. So Andrew, you want to
If you
discuss
haven't
a little
seen
bit?
this movie yet and you're waiting for a spoiler warning, I'll be disappointed in you.
That's on
Yeah,
you.
it's
At this
it's
point, a 23-year-old movie, that's on you.
Andrew. What are your quarrels?
I didn't hate this movie. I just guess it wasn't my type of movie. The only thing I just clearly didn't like was just Norm Macdonald's delivery on jokes. A lot of the jokes I thought were written quite well. It's just I'm not either used to deadpan comedy or it's just not something I've ever really been exposed to much. I didn't know Norm Macdonald before this movie, before he passed and I saw it in the news. So that was just really the only thing that just kind of killed my experience for it, which is totally okay. I have a childhood favorite movie that I know if I ever recommend, it's gonna get trashed on because it's so weird. That's fine. Other than that, it was really cool to see like Chris Farley and Adam Sandler and I forget his name, but the doctor.
Chevy Chase.
Cool, thank you. I guess I never knew his name then. Never mind. I loved the plot idea. I thought it was super cool. I loved all the actual writing of the jokes and the gags. I thought it was all great. Yeah, and I guess I need more like I haven't I should probably watch a Norm Macdonald comedy special because all of the snippets that I've been able to find on YouTube were always like out of context or not, I guess not his best work. So I want to see a full special and see what I think. But who knows? I probably won't change my mind because I'm not a fan of deadpan comedy. That's just my scene.
Yeah, with
However,
with that being said, I did watch what you put, Payson, which did give me a fuller picture on his comedy, which did raise my rating. So I
Are
do
you talking
recommend you
about
going to look
the
at.
which one are you talking about? Because I sent That's not the
I-
channel that had a whole bunch of his snippets of funny humor in there. Or are you talking about the one where it actually went through?
It went that one, yeah.
Now, I didn't think you were gonna watch that one, Andrew, just because I know you don't like the guy who does it.
I
but-
saw the length of it and I went, oh, I have homework.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay, yeah,
I
I
mostly
figured- I
just
figured
listened
that.
to it while I was at work, so
So
it's probably-
essentially, it was just them paying tribute to, because apparently he was a big influence in his life, which also might be why you don't quite like him. Which I don't know why you don't like him, but I honestly could care less.
I just don't tend to like news media that is clearly biased towards one side.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
either
yeah.
side.
Okay, well that's every news media. I'm sorry.
And hence I don't like watching the news.
Okay, that's fair. In that part, he wasn't being biased. He was just going through.
I started it and then I saw the 35 minutes. I went, ooh, later.
Yeah, it was just them paying tribute to everything. Basically, Norm Macdonald. I watched it. I know Zach watched it, and I believe Jack was listening to it when I was playing it. It was essentially going over the history of why he was so beloved.
I've got one more thing to say, and then that's the last thought on the movie because that's the last thought I had. There's this one scene that it was right after they put the fish in, and then the mobsters came in, and they just stood there, and I was like, okay. And then it went on, and I was like, okay, now it's comical, now it's funny, and then it kept going, and I'm like, this has gone on too long. Now I'm uncomfortable. And that's the only thing I have to mention, and that is it.
Yeah, no,
How-
I agree. I agree with that one. That one was a bit long of a wait.
I did like the dog jokes. I did like the jokes about the mayor and his dog. I did like those.
Whispering them across to each other. I don't know. Some of them seemed a little too obvious to me. I don't know if it's because I've watched a lot of
Well, I
comedies.
think
It
or
might
it's
have
just-
also just been like
It's also
1990s
probably
comedy.
because, yeah,
I mean,
it's also
yeah, I
because it's
suppose.
pretty old, and so some of the comedy done here
Has-
probably would have been newer at the time, whereas it's been done 50
possible.
different times
Possible.
now.
Now,
since,
one of them that I know it's the way he delivers his comedy, but I would have enjoyed a little bit more would be with the trunk full of dead hookers. A little bit more like excitement, something, anything, instead of oh no, there's another dead hooker. Just like a little bit more, and
yeah.
I would have enjoyed that a lot more. It would have felt a little bit more real, I suppose.
Look, there's a dead hooker in the trunk. That's not a dead hooker, dude. I
think
know a
my
dead hooker when I
favorite-
see one.
My favorite was I think it was towards the end with the skunks in his reign to kingdom, becoming a king. What was his whole spiel?
That's
I
just
don't
that's just
remember.
Chris Farley.
Chris
I know it
Farley.
is.
That's just Chris Farley.
I
He's
know
like,
it is, but I'm trying to remember what he was
I-
talking about. Like what was I forget
He
what the
was
premise
talking
of his
about
whole
how in the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. When the land of the skunk, the man with half a nose is king. You know, it's just
that's
you're
right.
just going on a
That's right.
spiel of
Why he's got the power now.
why he
Yeah.
is this all-powerful being because a
Yeah.
Saigon horror bit his nose off.
Twice.
On the topic of Chris Farley, who do you guys think is the Kronk of this movie? It's much harder to choose in a comedy. I think the
different
most
places.
Kronk-like is Chris Farley's character,
I would say that, yeah.
only because he's just also a side character that has to make the most of his time. What was up with the little black boy and the brownie hallucinations? Who was
Well,
that?
okay, but apparently he was somewhat famous during that time, so I'm thinking it was something of that time.
Okay.
So just
because-
another cameo.
Yeah, no, Don Rickles made an appearance. He was also funny, but no, I got to give it to Chris Farley as the Kronk. So
Yeah, he fits the bill the most.
no, all I gotta say is if you didn't like this movie, it was more than likely, which in your case, it was kind of due to, in both you guys' cases, actually, it was kind of due to his acting ish.
Yeah, acting mostly. I understand he's not an actor, but then again, I don't mind deadpan jokes. I'm just not the big fan of them. One, because I don't do them, so I'm not a fan
That
of
is
them.
the biggest lie.
I don't. You're right, but mine are better than yours, Payson.
No.
I mean, yeah, y'all brought up a lot of the points that I even care to bring up. A lot of great support actors to this that actually have been in movies, but like I said, to me, this felt more like a long comedy skit that he just made into realization instead of just talking about it. I mean, like I said, it was funny. I can't deny it. And yes, the deadpan jokes. See, I'm a little bit of a sucker for a deadpan joke, especially the whole fish one. To me, I kind of really enjoyed that, but I was expecting something more wild to happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they had the opportunity to do it. I feel like they just decided not to do it, or didn't think of anything else to do. It was just
So-
a really long.
A couple things I learned. One of which is that this was supposed to be a rated R movie.
Yeah,
And
no,
that-
it actually was. So they originally had a rated R script, which you can go look at and read. Crowder has a new comedic third chair, and he said it's one of the funniest things that he's ever read.
So what you're telling me is it was like what the Hunger Games was, and then they just made it bad. It's the same with Hunger Games. It was originally rated R, and then
I did not know that either.
they had to cut a lot of their scenes out and alter it a lot to make it PG-13.
I believe this is written by Norm.
Yeah, he was one of the writers.
He is very much limited to the PG-13 bubble because if you go listen to or watch his comedy, he can get very profane, but he is
Okay.
very, very funny. And I know Zach and Jack can both attest to it. So
I mean, I've heard worse. Maybe not really. No.
he's got a funny bit on Teachers though. It's hilarious.
So I found this movie flopped in the box office. It had a 13 million budget and only made 10 million. And
Well,
it
I think-
initially had bad reviews, like it initially had pretty negative reviews. However, it has become a cult, has a cult following, a cult classic as of recent. And after learning that, I was like, I can see that.
Payson brought it up, so I'm kind of glad you brought it up too. We did watch some of his other little specials he had. Well, I mostly listened. He watched directly. Man, it can be a little dark sometimes, but it's kind of almost a comedic dark to it. Like he knows where his limit is, but he likes pushing it just a tad bit past
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and
So-
that's when you know he's a good comedian, where you can
Yeah.
find the line, you can push it, but you never really cross it.
Also, as for the reviews, I will say during this time he had just been fired from SNL and that whole debacle was starting up. So maybe the critic, I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't push it past that the critics were
I was just reading,
yeah, well,
reporting what Wikipedia said.
yeah, no, I'm looking at it too now. I'm also seeing
It was
that it
also
might-
Bob Saget's first movie. That also could have been why they were a little harsh.
So apparently they cut half the movie in order to make it PG-13.
Wow.
So
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a relatively short movie. I think it was only an hour and a half. I knew I recognized her. The lead female actress was a main character in an early 2000s murder mystery series called Monk that I used to love.
Oh, that's right. She was in that.
I was like, I recognize her.
it is
So
Andrew's
they had a lot of
choice.
competition. I think if they released the original one, it would have stood a much better chance.
I think so too.
Would have probably had more of an impact. Maybe it would be a movie that a lot of people would be watching again still nowadays if they did the original.
Yeah, well, I mean, the original script is out for people to go read it. I don't know where, but you can apparently go and find it if you dig deep enough.
All right, well, thank you very much, everyone, for sticking along on our dirty work of reviewing dirty work. Glad you can make it. If you made it this far, make sure you like and subscribe and join us next week as we talk about another cult classic, The Room by Tommy Wiseau, which is not just me hating on it, saying I don't like it. It has been dubbed
It's
as
the
one of the
world.
worst movies ever made. So we will enjoy hating it, and we will see you all next time.
This ought to do the trick. Oh, Mitch, this is brutal. We hide these fish all over the house, and they'll stink for days. Okay, let's go. Fine. Wait.
Doesn't leave for an hour.
Nice place you got.
Yeah. Let's go.
You want it? Check it out. Looks good. What's the problem?
Smells like fish in here.
What is that? What was that? Some sort of signal? Huh? Is that a signal?
No.
You wearing a wire?
No,
Is
it
that-
really does smell like fish in here.
You're a damn cop, ain't you? That's it. Show these guys what we do to cops.
Say hello to the devil for me! Behind you! I've been hit! Pablo, kill them! Kill them! Make your gun bark like the devil himself! Bring in hell, you bastard! No! No, sweet Jesus, he got me! Mark, over there! Grab it! I'll use it to cut fireworks! Ah! What you using? Now you're killing me with that chainsaw!
Good Lord. We gotta get out of here. Will you come on? You fellas have a lot of growing up to do, I'll tell you that. Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Can you believe these characters? Way out of line, way out of line. Have a good mind to go to the warden about this. You know what hurts the most is the lack of respect. You know? That's what hurts the most. Except for the other thing. That hurts the most. But the lack of respect hurts the second most.
Weaver, McKenna, you're free to go.
Ridiculous.